Most of us are feeling uncertainty, worry, fear, anxiety, and some of us are even grieving and also feel lonely. We're experiencing these emotions unlike we ever have before. Our world as we know it has been shuttered, in many cases, literally. And even though so many of us and those we know and love have already lost so much, all of these emotions are made that much worse because we know that so much more loss is likely to come. I suspect that so many of us will look back upon this time as the most difficult of our lives. It is a struggle in the face of that difficulty to find hope. But I'm here to tell you that hope can be found. I have personally seen it, and I know that you can see it too. I've time and again since March 12th seen strength, time and again witnessed demonstrations of support and care, time and again observed concern for one another. This is where I know hope can be found. I know that hope can be found in random acts of kindness. On March 12th, the bar's leadership made the difficult decision to close the Bar Center in Atlanta and the bar's satellite offices in Savannah and Tifton. Despite the closure of the Bar Center, the bar security staff have remained on duty and on site 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This security staff is familiar to many of us, oftentimes being the first faces we see each time we enter the bar building. Perhaps because of this, bar members are just as concerned about them as they are about themselves and their own loved ones. Bar members like Nancy Prager, who arranged to have pizza delivered to the security guards each Wednesday since the Bar Center's closure was announced. Hope can also be found in Georgia lawyers' dedication to helping each other. It's no secret that lawyers are some of the most susceptible to depression and anxiety. And for the Georgia lawyers battling these conditions, the atmosphere of fear resulting from the coronavirus pandemic and the reality of social distancing and the isolation it can create can be triggers. There's no need for anyone to suffer alone. And across the state of Georgia, lawyers have stepped up to be there for any other Georgia lawyer who needs someone to lean on or simply talk with. Led by Lynn Garson, members of the State Bar's Lawyers Assistance Program and its Lawyers Helping Lawyers Peer Program have been lending an ear to Georgia lawyers struggling during this public health crisis. And Lynn and her committee have been joined by scores of other Georgia lawyers who for the first time are volunteering to serve as a peer at a time when so many need a colleague to talk to. Hope can be found in the desire of Georgia lawyers to help others. The pandemic and its fallout have impacted us all, but in particular the less fortunate in our state and our country. Those in need of civil legal services, those facing food insecurity, those needing a donation of blood. Georgia's lawyers are time and again helping fulfill those needs. A task force among the State Bar, Atlanta Legal Aid, and the Georgia Legal Services Program was formed recently to address issues related to the delivery of civil legal services for the poor that have arisen and continue to arise as a result of this pandemic. The Bar's role in that task force is being fulfilled by a special committee chaired by Savannah's Paul Painter. Paul's committee will absolutely provide support to Atlanta Legal Aid and Georgia Legal Services as they continue to fulfill their missions under these trying circumstances. But with Paul's leadership, the committee is also identifying other issues arising as a result of the pandemic, affecting both the legal system and the legal profession, developing solutions to those issues, and then working with the appropriate entities and bar leadership to implement them. Meanwhile, the Young Lawyers Division, under President Will Davis, held a signature fundraiser, or at least collected money on behalf of its signature fundraiser because the fundraiser itself had to be canceled as a result of the pandemic, and raised $20,000 for Georgia Legal Services. That's not all. The Young Lawyers Division have converted their Build a Better Georgia Day, originally devoted to Habitat for Humanity builds, into a day of blood donation drives in conjunction with local Red Cross offices across the state. And the Young Lawyers Division is using their annual partnership with the state's 8 community food banks and the Georgia Attorney General's office through the Legal Food Frenzy to ensure that every Georgian, especially Georgia's children, have access to food as this pandemic continues. The Legal Food Frenzy will take place between April 20th and May 1st, raising funds and food so that Georgia's 8 community food banks can continue to, among other things, provide free breakfast and lunch to children who rely on free or reduced price school meals, which they no longer have access to. We are all scared. We all feel lonely. We all feel uncertain. And we all are not sure what the future holds. It's difficult when feeling that way to find hope. But there is hope to be found. You just have to look for it. It's there to be seen. And in that hope, we will find strength to endure what lies ahead. Strength in our community, in our collective support of each other. That hope, the hope that you can find, as I have found, is how we will ensure our resurgence.